Hi, welcome to SPR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. This is our daily pitching preview show that we do with Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com. Right now we're going to cover the pitching assignment for Tuesday, May 5th. Joe Duffy, thanks for being back with us.
Thank you for having me, Peter.
All right, Joe, how are things going at OffshoreInsiders.com? I think I started to notice that in recent couple of days that the favorites started to win a little bit more. Have you been doing well this past week?
They are, and of course, extra innings we never ever win. I'll tell people that out front. But yeah, it's been a very solid run. We don't pick all underdogs by any stretch of the imagination, and in fact, this is really the time of the year to jump on board because so many of our great angles have to do with pitchers after 5 starts, how they've done under their last 5 starts, etc. So great times ahead at OffshoreInsiders.com.
All right, that sounds great, Joe Duffy. Well, one play that maybe you might want to consider where you definitely won't be getting an underdog line is Houston on Tuesday. Wandy Rodriguez starting for Texas. Now, we know Houston, the most profitable team in baseball. Very, very impressive, awesome team. Texas doesn't bring much to the table. The pitching matchup is looking, kind of even, but Wandy Rodriguez probably going to get hit here, right?
Probably, although Houston, I think they're a team that's been playing a little bit above their heads. They've shocked a lot of people. So whether or not Houston's going to maintain what they've done so far remains to be seen. But Wandy Rodriguez did have a 2.08 ERA against the Astros back in 2012, and it's the first time he faced them since. So, we'll see. Has Houston's bats been as good as they've been so far? I doubt it.
You don't expect Wandy Rodriguez to be vulnerable again here?
I think that Houston's about to regress to the mean,
okay, and
this might be the time, although I'm not saying that I'm backing Wandy Rodriguez. I'm not somebody who's going to be backing Wandy Rodriguez a lot.
And then we have Chad Billingsley returning to the major leagues coming off of an injury, and from what I've been reading, his rehab starts have been okay, but not great. And, we know that Philadelphia, when they have a questionable pitcher going, they don't have the lineup to make up for it. And they're going up against Atlanta. Shelby Miller, he's probably going to regress, I think, as well, but maybe not in this game. Although Philadelphia did just get a big win as a big underdog, but I'm guessing they're going to be a big underdog here, and maybe we want to fade them anyway. The big pitching advantage to Atlanta, or you don't think that they will wind up having a big pitching advantage here?
I wouldn't say a big pitching advantage. I know that Shelby Miller had been pitching pretty well going back to last year, but maybe he is possibly regressing to the mean.
Yeah.
Chad Billingsley is one of these guys who just sticks around the major leagues forever for a reason. He's a solid pitcher. I do think when guys come off of the DL or they come up in the minor leagues, and they can at times be a little bit undervalued because they're going to have kind of the adrenaline advantage, and the batters haven't actually faced him for a while. So, I do think that probably there could be a slight advantage for Billingsley.
All right, and then in Coors Field, we might be in for an over here. I don't know. Robbie Ray and Jordan Lyles are the slated starters. Neither of these guys are looking too promising. Lyles has definitely gotten hit, and Robbie Ray is a lefty. Colorado's pounding lefties. He's going to be in Coors. Who knows what they'll do with the humidor, but both these starting pitchers looking pretty vulnerable in this game, right, Joe?
That's for sure. Robbie Ray is another guy who's coming up from the minor leagues because Arizona has been their pitching staff is struggling, and he really didn't pitch very well in the minor leagues. At Reno, 1-3 with a 4.01 ERA. He did kind of battle for a spot and wasn't able to win one in the spring. So I think this is kind of a desperation move, but this will be one of the higher totals that we've seen in a while, I think, in the post-steroid era, because not that Eddie Butler really offers much of an alternative.
All right, but do you think we still might want to lean towards the over anyway, or do you think that Coors totals are just because you never know what they're going to do with the humidor?
Well, one of the things, some of my better systems have to do with the combined ERAs and then what the totals are. So, but all in all, I do think it probably will be a high-scoring game. I think even though there's a high total, I wouldn't be surprised to see 10, 11 runs here. And it might even be a case of the first 5 innings going over the total.
Okay, and then San Diego, San Francisco, Cashner against Vogelsong. What's the line on this game going to be? I don't know, but San Diego should have a big starting pitching advantage here, right? Vogelsong, not really getting it done and probably won't be a big league starter for too much longer. Cashner, excellent, solid, reliable. Big edge for San Diego here, right?
No question. Vogelsong with a 9.31 ERA. And there was some talk that he would be taken out of the rotation. He doesn't have too many bad starts left in him before he's pulled from the rotation. Right now, it's a good time to fade Vogelsong. But, there are going to be some people who are going to say, look, Vogelsong's pitched pretty well in the past, so now's where he is going to start pitching better. But all in all, the way he's pitching, he's throwing up beach balls, seems to be a good chance to fade him.
Okay, and then let's just discuss Latos against Strasburg, Miami at Washington. You know, two guys have been very good in the past, might be good in the future, but right now looking kind of shaky, although they are both looking a little bit better in recent starts. And Strasburg, you know, he does have that old strikeout to walk ratio that's looking good, so maybe that, you know, predicts better results for him in the future. Out of either of these guys, which do you think might be more likely to have a successful start here?
Well, Latos, you're right. He has been pitching much better after just pitching absolutely awful in his first couple outings. Strasburg, again, you're never really going to get value on him. You got a very good pitcher on a highly touted team. So most likely Miami's going to be pretty good value here.
Okay, well, that's all I wanted to bring up. Just to sum up, I'm definitely going to be looking to bet on San Diego, take advantage of Vogelsong, and, you know, I guess looking towards an over in Colorado, although there's a lot of unknowns always with Colorado totals. And what else? Yeah, and we'll see what the line is for the Billingsley-Miller matchup. All right, Joe, what else do you want to bring to our attention from Tuesday?
We do have a Drew Smiley, 2.82 ERA and 5 career starts to the Bo Sox. Detroit Shane Green, talk about a guy who's been getting drilled 15 runs in his last 8 2/3.
Wait. So you're saying that you'd look to fade Smiley at Boston?
No. He's got a 2.82 ERA, so I would look towards possibly going with him. He's pitched very well against the Boston Red Sox.
Okay.
Now, Shane Green, he seems to be in a pretty good fade situation. 15 runs in his last 8 2/3 innings pitched. And James Paxton, he's got a 5.74 ERA after 5 starts, but he has pitched very well to Anaheim, 2.67 ERA and 5 career starts to Anaheim. So some conflicting stuff. Remember, you know, I'm also I'll report, you decide. I like to give people information. Some people like to have the information to help make up their own minds. And of course, I do finalize the picks at Offshore Insiders.
Sure, okay, but we all know we don't need you to report the ERAs to us, Joe Duffy. We need analysis from you as far as who you think is maybe more likely than not to do well or poor or more poorly than expected in the future. So, I mean, do you think that Paxton, you know, the Angels don't have a very strong lineup this year, as we know. Do you expect a better than average start from Paxton here, or do you think he's probably going to get knocked around a little bit?
No, the numbers speak for themselves. He's definitely not pitching well. And, you know, yeah, I do handicap offense more than most handicappers do. But when you're struggling the way Paxton is, this is a good time to face him. And sometimes pitchers who are struggling tend to over-adjust.
Okay, thanks so much, Joe.